guys, and welcome to yet another full flight video on the channel. Today we're doing the rescue flight from Edinburgh to Newark in the US. So basically we're just going to pretend that the aircraft that was meant to fly from Edinburgh to Newark in today's flight, which is usually a 757, but as you know there's no decent 757s for MSFS, so we're just going to take this 737-900ER with the 2 auxiliary fuel tanks, which can barely make it across to the US, and we're going to fly it across there and take up all the passengers that have been left in Edinburgh with no flight in this. So it landed last night, and we're just going to take it from cold and dark this morning, get the passengers on, and start our flight over to Newark in the US. So it's about 9 o'clock in the morning here in Edinburgh. As you can see, decent day, but we'll jump inside and start getting set up. So into the cockpit we go. We'll go to the overhead panel, start the batteries, standby power on, emergency lights on, and we can hit the ground power as well, just to give us some power. Aligning the IRS, and that will do it for the overhead panel at the moment, I think. And of course that won't align yet if the yaw damper won't work if the IRS isn't aligned. So what we'll do is we'll just request, or we won't request until we've set the is it because the parking brakes aren't set? There we go. What we'll do is we'll request boarding. We'll just use service there, and that'll bring the gate over for us as well. I'm not entirely sure if GSX is set up for the 737-900. Something tells me it's not. Yeah, it's definitely not, because he's going to go to the wrong door. So we'll just ignore GSX and pretend that we can't see it. So, first thing we're going to do is go to FS Actions and go to Fuel. So, if I set this full, as you can see, 23,729, that's the most this can take with the extra fuel tanks. That's exactly what we're going to take, because we're going to need pretty much every bit to help us get across. This isn't a flight they would have done in real life, but we're just going to pretend that they have. 0 fuel weight. We're quite heavy as well, which won't help. We're 61, which will bring us under our maximum weight. So our maximum takeoff weight in this plane is 85.3. We're going to be at 84.5, so pretty close. But according to my flight plan, it should take us 20.5 tons of fuel, metric tons of fuel, to get across there. So we should have about 2.2 tons extra. So we should be fine. So now that's done, we can go into the FMC. The AIRAC is up to date, and it's EGPH, and we'll just grab the GPS coordinates like so. We do have a company route, so Kilo Echo Whiskey Romeo, and I believe we're taking off from runway 24 here today. And we are United Airlines 37. You'll activate and execute that. Departure out of Edinburgh today is from runway 24, as I said, when it goes at 1 Charlie. We'll execute that, which is fine. 0 fuel weight. So we are planning, as I said, we'll just round it up actually, 20.6. The reserves officially should be What I'm going to go with 1.6 on the reserves. I have no idea what United's cost index is. I'll put 50. And we'll initially go up to 320. And the transition altitude here is 6,000 feet. We'll execute that. N1 limit, we're not going to derate because it's going to be a challenge to get off this runway anyway. So we're not going to derate because we're so heavy. Takeoff performance, so we go flaps 5. We'll put the centre of gravity in. May as well put the winds in, which are 270 at 3. It's fairly light wind. I have no idea what the slope is, so we'll just leave it at that. So you can see by the V speeds we are heavy. 166 for V2, which we'll just put in here. Like so. We're not on VATSIM or anything, so I'll just put 12,000 as our initial. And we'll put runway heading in on the heading bug as well, just so we're aligned up and if something happens. My flight director on. There we go. LNAV and VNAV armed. We've got an FMC message, unable next altitude. So what we can just do is delete those restrictions because again we're not on VATSIM or anything. And as I say, it's going to struggle to, so I'm just going to delete all the restrictions. Just because it's on this one. Yeah, just because we don't need to be trying to hit them. And we'll deal with step climbs later. I'm just going to set up the arrival as well just now. Because if it stays the same, I won't come back to you in the cruise. If it doesn't, then I won't. So I'm just going to go and see what they're landing in real life just now. And it looks like they are landing on 4 right, which is what I think I've got on the flight plan for now. Yes it is, so we'll go to arrival, ILS 4 right, and this is the star. Now, I think when I looked at this before, again, because we'll not be getting radar vectors, I'll just kind of make it up myself, because if I remember, it's kind of a strange kind of approach. Yeah, so if I close that gap, it's then got some kind of strange here. So we need to go from gritty, is that gritty? Delete the vectors, basically. Execute that. And that brings us in. Can't get the click spot, there we go. Yeah, that should be fine. Saves a bit of fuel by cutting that out as well. So just to double check on the FMC progress page, it thinks we'll land, there we go, with 1.8 remaining, which is definitely not what they would do in real life, especially when the weather conditions right now at Newark aren't fantastic. But it is what it is, and we're just going to go with it. So the QNH just now here is 1031, still nice high pressure over the UK. It's a nice day today here. 1031 is set. Can put the yaw damper on now that the IRS is aligned. we've manually loaded the fuel, so seatbelt signs and everything can come on. Window heats can come on. We've got automatic probes as well, so it's fine. And we'll put 320 in here for the initial climb. I will put the APU bleed on just now because we're going to go and start the APU, get ready for pushback. And I'll put all the fuel pumps on as well now. Don't want to waste too much fuel on the APU burn, so we're actually going to get ready for takeoff. Put 2000 in on the transponder, and we'll just put it to TARA just now, just doesn't matter, and we'll request pushback. Can bring the yoke back up, I think. So FMC menu, FS actions, ground services. Once that APU is available, we'll disconnect the GPU.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
APU is online, so we will transfer the generators, come down and remove the chocks, like so. And we'll just go to the climb page on this and takeoff page here. Little look over the wing.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Interesting. I think GSX is going to have an interesting time pushing this back. I forgot that there wasn't a profile for the 900, but we'll just see if it can manage. Because he's going to go through the plane, but it's fine. Good old GSX and not having a profile. I'm just going to put the hydraulics on just now. Well, or is it going to manage? Oh no, to be fair, it's going to do the nose, so that's good.
Locking gear.
I considered maybe whether we should do flaps 10 for takeoff now that I think about it. I'm just going to put it in just to see what it does to change the V speeds. Yeah, we need to go right. Yeah,
Release parking brakes.
we're going to go unusual. And we're going to go
Commencing push.
flaps 10 for
All
takeoff,
engines clear.
just to help us get off the ground a bit quicker. Because, there we go. Just to help us get off that ground a little bit quicker. Starting our pushback now. Nice bit of wing wobble. Wing flex. So we'll start the engines. So to ground. There it goes. Wait for 25%. There it is. Put in the fuel. So we've got starter cut out and the lights off, so we can start engine number 1.
Set parking brakes.
We'll set the parking brakes for GSX. Come on, there we go.
Awaiting your confirmation for good engine start.
We'll just tell them that we're good.
Mr. Brown, we have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
You can probably turn that feature off, and I should do it because it's just annoying. 25, there we go. So we're meant to be blocks off at 9:10, so we're running 7 minutes late, but it's not too bad.
Unlocking gear.
Nice and smooth GSX again. So we've got starter cutout and the lights off. So we can transfer the generators again, turn the APU off, we can turn the turn-offs,
Bypass pin removed.
taxi lights on, continuous.
Left is clear, right is clear.
I never even put the anti-collision light on, so that's a schoolboy error. It's fine. We can put the packs back on. We'll do a packs off takeoff though, so I'll turn them back off once we get to the runway, just to help with our performance. And we can put the auto brake to RTO and set flaps 10. Get an unusual flap setting, but just to help us get off the ground. There we go. So we'll do a control check. There we go. So flaps 10 green light. It's now, for some reason, updated the takeoff speeds, which is slightly interesting, but it's okay. So that's us. Parking brake off, and off we go. We'll probably need a little bit of power to get us moving here because we're so heavy again. There we go. So the rescue flight is underway. So a relatively short taxi up to runway 24. There we go. Qatar 787 sitting there. As you'll know from the previous video, we do like a wing view. So that's us already at the end of the runway, so we'll just put everything on, all the lights, put the strobes on, we'll arm the auto throttle, double check those speeds which are still correct. We'll make our turn onto the runway. keep it nice and tight as we come around. Nearly stopping. There we go, come on, plane. Lovely. Okay, so we'll just stop it here. Final wing views. Here we go. Okay, so 40%. And takeoff. Here we go. Can tell we're heavy. That's checked. There's V1. Rotate. There we are. Positive rate. Gears coming up. Just trim it out. Go. Relatively calm. Gonna go Command A. We've lost VNAV for some reason. There we go, it's back. We'll go flaps 5. Now we're off the ground. There we go. As you can see, slow climb out. Again, I think we've got rid of them all, but I'll altitude intervene. Up to 320. There we go. So just coming up to flaps up speed, so I will just put the flaps all the way up. Up they come. There we go. I realise I never turned the packs off, so it's actually fine. We still managed it in the end. Never started the clock either. Oh, for forgetting everything. It's fine, we'll start it now. And as you can see, we've got a slow climb, but now we're at 250, we're starting to accelerate. You can turn the auto brakes off, put the gear off, and the retractable landing lights can come off as well. Put the starter switches back to off, logo light can come off. And there we go, we're starting to get a decent climb rate now. Coming up to 6,000 where we'll go standard pressure. Let the cabin crew up. So 6,000 will go standard, which will do it for all of them in the PMDG. Have a look outside. Go. So you can tell by our weight, obviously the yellow bar is quite close just due to the weight of the plane. Maybe I'll be going more against the jet stream this way, so it would have used a little bit less full fuel had we been going the other way, but we're not. Just approaching 10,000, we'll turn the lights off. Interesting how the textures have changed here. It's 10,000 feet, we'll turn the lights off. And it's relatively smooth, so we can put the seatbelt signs to auto as we climb out away from Edinburgh and from the UK. And yes, we're on our way. So I'll leave you guys now as we accelerate and climb away. If I need to change the arrival, I'll come back to you guys in the cruise closer to arrival. If not, I'll see you down in the approach to Newark in about 7 hours time for me. Yes guys, I will see you then. Goodbye. And welcome into the descent into Newark Airport. So since you haven't seen me in a cruise means the runway hasn't changed from what we originally planned. It's still 4 right. I've checked flight radar and they're still landing on that one, so that's all good. Some interesting weather. The latest METAR has 12 knots gusting 21, so we'll see how that helps, how that proves to help us or hinder us. So it's quite a blustery approach. Looking at the radar, obviously the PMD, the Microsoft Flight Sim doesn't have a weather radar, it's just the terrain radar, but looking at the weather radar on windy.com, there is a band of weather moving through the airport at the moment, so we'll see how that goes. Just need to do a couple of things set up for the landing. First off, we need to choose flap settings, so that'll be flaps 30, and we need 108.7 in on the ILS, so 1087. We'll put that active. and we'll do it on both sides. 1087. Again, make that active on both sides. Altimeter set, so we're in inches of mercury this time, since we're in America, and obviously transition level was 180. So it's 29067. We'll go auto brake 2 for the landing. And you can see we're getting fairly bumpy here. It is a shame there's no weather radar. Just the view I was looking for. But we'll go with it. So just at decel point now, which is fine. As I say, it is some interesting weather out the window, but that's okay. So as we get ready to pass 10,000 feet, we'll put the fixed lights on and the turn off lights on. And we'll stick the logo light on as well, why not? And we'll also put the seatbelt signs on. Probably should have done that earlier. Got this ominous looking clouds. We can also put in the minimums, which is 111 feet 111 on the barometer, like so. In through the cloud. So what I'm going to do is put the engine anti-ice on as well, because it is cold and there is some precipitation about, as far as I'm aware. So on it comes. Just as we go through the clouds. 5 degrees outside, so the plane's de-accelerated nicely, and obviously at the beginning you would have seen me worrying a little bit about fuel because of the range of the plane, but 4.6 tons is actually more than we planned to land with. We managed to step climb up to 360 on the way down here, so that also saved us some fuel. I've not landed at Newark in the sim yet, so this will be a first. Horrible weather, horrible weather. It's just coming through 7,000 feet now, about to hit our turn onto what is basically the base leg. We'll see if we can see anything through the clouds as we make the turn. Very bumpy wing. I think we're in the turn now. Judging by the flaps ever so slightly up there. Yep, just see the ground. So we're going to hit decel there, which is fine. Quite a tight turn onto final. Hopefully the plane manages it. So lost the VNAV profile ever so slightly here. It catches up. I'm actually going to put the speed brake out a little bit. Because now we've got a hell of a tailwind, so bring the range in. Put the localizer armed. I would really like to get flaps 1 out, but we're really struggling on the speed. According to this on this texture that I've got, 230 is the flap limit, but it's 150 on the plane, so we'll just go with 150. So I'm just going to put flaps 1 out to help us slow down. There we go, flaps 1 coming out. Oh, lovely stutter there. Not entirely sure what even caused that stutter, but it's okay. Bring the speed brakes in now. It's got very dark in the clouds here. Nothing to be seen. Very stuttery, which is slightly concerning, but hopefully it sorts itself out. I'm going to put flaps 5 out. There's the localizer. So arm approach. Actually bang on the glide slope path as well there. So fire all the lights on, starters to continuous. So we got it set up maybe a little early, but just with the weather, it's always good to do that. So there we are. Going to put Command B on just because we can't see anything at the moment. Visibility should be okay once we get below this cloud layer, hopefully. Just going to bug to the white bug. Got this strange thing that happens where the approach mode disappears, but it still manages to follow everything. Not quite sure what it's about. There's definitely some interesting stutters going on. And it isn't VRAM usage for a change, which is interesting. Just set missed approach altitude.
2500.
There's a radio altimeter. Still can't see anything. Rain on. There's a runway there, I believe. 8 to go. We can go gear down, flaps 15. Horrible day here. And we will go, because of the wind, I'll go for 152 for our final approach speed, and we'll go flaps 30. Go. I'm hoping the stutters is just the airport loading in. Take a wee screenshot. Right, let's attempt to land this then. So I am flying it. It's very blustery. It's very stuttery.
Traffic.
That's can't be any traffic because there is none. We're not on VATSIM, there's no traffic running. So I think the majority of those stutters was everything loading in, so hopefully now everything's loaded in. It's a bit better.
500. 400. 300. 200. Approaching minimums.
Ugh, very stuttery. I've never seen flight sim like this.
Minimums. 30. 20.
Ugh,
10.
it's going to make it landing us a challenge. Ugh, horrible, 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 horrible. Absolutely horrible. Even with an RTX 4090 13900K, and it still demolishes performance. We are absolutely rammed with VRAM usage at the moment. It's trying to use 26 gigs at the moment. I'm just going to go this way. Ugh. Okay, we need to go to, I want to go to gate 133, that's where the 757 in this flight landed and parked. There it's there. No, I don't need to follow me, I'm going to try and get there myself. What we'll do is we'll keep going this way. Can turn all the lights off. Taxi light on. APU on. Come on. So APU is coming online. turn left here. There we go. Now ignore the games spawning in 737s and of Jet 2 in the United States, but performance is really annoying me. I'm not entirely sure it was even a VRAM issue on approach, because it didn't look to be using that much. I mean, right now it's absolutely pegged, but I'm not sure. In terms of taxiing, we will take this left here. Could have also stopped the clock, but let it run. But we also started it late, so it's probably about right, 7 hours 25 minutes. The disappointing thing is, despite the stutters on approach, we're sitting at 770 roughly. It's jumping between 67 and 74 FPS, which is good. That is with frame generation on, so it would probably only be about 30 to 40 without. But it is what it is. May look at dropping it down to 1440p for some of these videos, just to, especially in areas like this, just to help if that is the reason for the stutters. There isn't a major difference in the quality between 2K and 4K, but we'll see. So there's 133 there, right next to a Jet 2. When I change my view, sometimes the tiller gets stuck, which is just a pain. Slow it down a little bit. So here we go, into 133. Jet 2 looks to have spawned in the other plane, but I cannot steer in this plane. Slow it down, come on. That'll do it. Horrendous parking, but that'll do it. Cut the engines, turn the fuel pumps off apart from the aft one, the anti-collision light can come off, seat belts off, window heats can come off, backs off, like so. And we can request deboarding, which again you just have to not look at because we don't have the profile. It should go to the front door okay, but it will struggle for the rest of the doors, as you can see here. But here we are at Newark. DX12 issues there as well, which is just lovely. Nose wheel isn't even straight. But it is what it is. we'll try and fix some of those performance issues for the next flight. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. And yep, we'll do another full flight video soon, and I'll see you in that. Bye, guys.